It's got the I think Caravelle bumper on the front. It's got 5.1 mirrors. It's a nice straight van. So the project so far is I've just fitted the camera, and I'm currently in the process of fitting a diesel heater. Now I know a lot of people fit these under the seats, but this worked out to be the best place for me because I wanted to put the leisure battery under the seat. Because the floor is ribbed, I've fitted a turret plate. I'll show some photos of that from underneath. And I've sealed that in using thermal silicone. And I'm just messing around with glands to put the fuel pipe through. Probably going to mount the pump on the underside so that it cuts down on the noise, because I hear that these can be quite noisy. Gone for a smaller fuel tank because I want it to sit next to the heater, and then box that area in, because this is a work van as well. It will give me enough space to have a toolbox here, and then another shelf on top of the heater. Obviously all that can be taken away, and then because I'm keeping the seats in the rear, I'm going to have a shelf coming along same height of the seats that folds over probably to make the middle part of the bed. Let's lock this off. And then inside, that's the seats folded over. They're Sportline seats, proper Volkswagen ones. Obviously if I got rid of those and did like a U-shaped seating or something, or a rock and roll bed, it'd probably be a lot more space, but because of the way I use the van, it's also like a family taxi as well, so I really need the seats in there with decent seat belts. These seats were fitted before I had the van by a previous owner. Hello Jodie. And they also move forward into these sections here. So you can have the seat here and a bigger boot, but because of the way I'm converting it, obviously we need this space in the middle, so the seats are going to be pretty much staying at the back there now, and that gives me enough space anyway. I can put sort of materials in here and all the tools in the boot when I need them. So a lot of the lining was done previously. Some of the panels aren't the best, so I might replace some of those. I'm going to try and reuse the original lights, interior lights, because they never worked anyway, so I might wire those and control them from the leisure battery, because you know they've got diffusers on them, they're here and they haven't cost me any money. And then I'm going to probably put reading lights above where the bed will be. The bed's going to run front to back, or back to front, not sideways, because this van's not wide enough. It's got this, I think this is the recycled bottle insulation. It's like a plasticky one. This has been in here for at least 5 years. Absolutely no problems with it holding moisture. It's all absolutely fine. Not really a single bit of rust on this van. I mean, there's the odd dink outside from stone chips and that, but that's about it. Okay, so I've done the leisure battery under here, under the driver's seat. Now these are replacement seats, and they've been welded onto the original frame, so I can't take the seat off of the frame, which would give me a lot more room to do things, but as it is, you just have to sort of struggle down there. There's a split charge relay and the inline fuse, 100 amp hour battery. I bought the split charge set as a kit. There wasn't enough wire, unfortunately, so I had to invest in a bit more, but I'm sure that'll come in handy in the future. Got this subwoofer in here, which I'll probably take out. The wiring's all sort of all low, just hanging around the place, and it's really going to take up a lot of space, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I thought about building a little box underneath the passenger seat, but that's quite handy for keeping all your jack and things like that under there. I'll show you the door card's off at the moment because this door pull that opens the door from the inside has kind of been the bane of my life. That's the third one I put in. It's quite a fiddly job, but it's done anyway. I wish I'd recorded that because it's probably quite useful for someone, but if you need to do yours, then just ask and I'll hopefully be able to help you. Let's pop the bonnet. So under the bonnet here we've got the this is for the split charge, goes into the fuse holder there, and then you can't really see now because I've covered it up, but it goes through two rubber grommets or glands into the cab, and then runs protected in sort of shielding down to the leisure battery, and it seems to work a treat at the moment, so that's good. So just a little bit more on the leisure battery. I'll try and get the light down there. Split charger, the little fuse holder down there, see that, and then it's got this battery sort of clamp that clamps onto the front seat bolts. You can see it clamps onto the front seat bolts there, which was useful for sort of tidying up the wires and the split charge relay and all that kind of thing, but it didn't fit. I mean, it doesn't look like it had been measured after it had been made, so it's sort of made out of angle iron. So I had to get the jack on it and sort of bend it out and then grind out the slots where the bolts go, because it was never going to fit, which was a bit of a shame really after spending sort of 25 quid on it. Anyway, that's supposed to sort of come up here and over the battery and clamp it so it doesn't move. Now I've sawn it off down here so it still holds, still stops the battery from tilting forward, but because of the way it was and I can't take the seat off, there was just no way it was going to work for me. I mean, if you had sort of proper Volkswagen seat tops, then it probably would. Just to be clear, this is an original base, so it should fit the base. So that stops from going forward, and I'm going to put straps, a couple of straps around there that you can just tighten, and that will keep it all nicely in place. Can't see that it'd really go anywhere anyway, so heavy. Yeah. I also built these to do the smaller crimps like these things. There's a earthen wire that comes off of the split charge relay, for example. And these must be good because they say Mr. Quality on them. Actually, they were really good, and there's quite a lot in there for a pretty reasonable price. I'll put the link of those as well, and just a couple of notes on the position of the heater. You're very restricted about where you can put it on these vans because everything underneath is covered in plastic covers, so you have to take those down and sort of have a treasure hunt as to where you can put it in a sensible place. I wanted to put it in that corner, but it was never going to work in the end. So yeah, that was sort of the only place where there wasn't sort of structural members running along. I mean, you can see the spot welds here that sort of give you an indication that that's the side of a structural member. It probably ends over here somewhere. And just a little tip as well, if you want to cut out some ply lining, I used a multi-tool, vibrating multi-tool, and cut that out beautifully. Obviously I need to tidy it up and it's going to have a box over it, but I was just making sure I had the right position there first. Yeah. Right, so just to give you an idea of where the heater's coming out, this is the back of the van. That's the bumper. Ooh, needs a bit of work there. So we go under here, got this plastic cover pulled down. After a bit of treasure hunting, this is my little hole where I put the turret through. I put loads of heat resistant silicone on there, just because I don't want any fumes coming back up into the cab. Obviously that's very important, you don't want to die or get ill or whatever. There's the structural member that I was talking about, spot welded. You can see the spot welds from above. Now this is a bit of an experiment here. I'm going to mount the exhaust muffler bracket onto the heat shield, because this is strong, and I tested it yesterday and it's quite heat resistant. I mean, it could end up being a complete disaster, but I'm hoping that this will be quite a good heat sink before it transfers any heat onto the plastic. It could end up in a big disaster, but I'll test it and then people can learn from my mistakes. Because under here there's just nowhere to mount it. There's nothing, unless I get rid of the plastic cover altogether, and because of the way it's put together, it's just going to end up getting caked in dirt and start to corrode. So I don't really want to do that, but we'll see what happens. I'll come up with another solution if that's the case, it doesn't work. And then I just bought these grommet set nuts and bolts. I had hundreds of nuts and bolts, but never seemed to find the right ones. And then I've run out of self-tapping screws, so I just bought a box of those. Again, I'll leave all those links down the bottom just in case they're helpful. So the idea of the van is to act as a work van, family transport, and also a camper. So, so it's a tall order for a short wheelbase T5, but yeah, I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. At least the idea of it really is to give us a chance to go away next year, you know, after all this COVID is over, hopefully, or make some other plan. Anyway, to go away, see if we like it, and if we do, then I'll get a bigger van and start converting that. But it's one of those things where until you know you're going to like it. Thanks for following along, and if you like this, then please like and subscribe. I'll be doing more as I go along with the van, so hopefully if you're thinking about your own build or you're in the middle of doing one, then some of it might be helpful. If you thought it was rubbish, then give me a thumbs down, and leave comments if any of it sort of helped you or didn't help you. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so I'm going to go. Bye.